And I quickly realized that there was a huge untapped market where agencies were struggling to source well-written, accurate, optimized content for their law firm clients.
Do you have a marketing strategy for the company, or is like organic marketing and word of mouth?
It depends on the client type. I'd say there are like 10 huge players in the United States, half of whom we work with in legal marketing. And I made those connections in the conference circuit. That's how that happened, like handshakes and cocktails after sessions.
How did you feel was like the receptivity when you began? Did you feel like you had a bunch of clients?
I got really lucky. The SEO specialist called me one day and he was like, Dave, I'm going out on my own. I'm gonna need a content vendor. Well, that guy turned out to found one of the biggest marketing agencies for law firms in the United States.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Andres Figueira, and I'm going to be your host for the day. This show is brought to you by the Global Talent Company, helping fast-growing teams hire exceptional remote talent from Argentina, South Africa, and beyond. We connect companies with world-class professionals who bring skill, reliability, and a global perspective to every role. And just for our listeners, we're offering an exclusive 10% discount on your first hire. All you need to do is visit globaltalent.co, click Start Hiring, and mention the podcast listener discount when we get in touch. And with me here today, I am speaking with David Arato, founder of Lexicon Legal Content, an agency that's providing high-quality, informative, and keyword-rich content to law firms and law firm marketers throughout the United States and Canada. So with that said, David, welcome to the show, man. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. That's a mouthful on the business description, huh?
It really was. I made sure to look up what you are doing properly because I must say this is the first legal-sided agency with whom I'm speaking. So just so that we can get the audience a bit more context, David, would you be able to tell us about your background, how you came to actually found a legal content marketing agency and how you got there?
Sure, absolutely. So I'm a law school graduate. I graduated in 2009. And during that period of bar study, which it happens the summer after your law school, third year of law school for most people, I started writing content for a small agency in St. Louis that no longer exists. And this is 15 years ago. This is the beginning of content marketing as we know it today. And my content started ranking pretty well, pretty quickly. And like, this wasn't a job I realized even existed in law school. Like no one said, hey, you can use your law knowledge and your JD to create content for an agency and get law firms to rank for keywords. And I was pretty good at it. And I quickly realized that there was a huge untapped market throughout the United States and Canada, as you mentioned, where agencies were struggling to source well-written, accurate, optimized content for their law firm clients. So I started doing it on a freelance basis. And as these things go, you get to a point where you need to hire some help. And the next thing I was like, oh, wait, I guess I'm running an agency now. So that was it.
Wow. But I love the shift in the perspective on the fact that people usually assume that if you're studying in law school, it's to go and live like the regular journey that everybody knows. And it's like becoming a lawyer, then going to court or something like that, working at a firm. But I had never understood the gap and the opportunity in the market to really create an agency that caters to what law firms need. So I feel like that's golden, David. And how did you feel was like the receptivity when you began? Did you feel like you had a bunch of clients and it was a quick time that passed before you had to get some help?
We got really lucky. And I should say I got really lucky because of that small agency that I mentioned that no longer exists. The SEO specialist there called me one day, I don't know, fall of 2010, maybe 2011, I don't remember. And he was like, Dave, I'm going out on my own. I'm going to need a content vendor. Well, that guy turned out to found one of the biggest marketing agencies for law firms in the United States. And that relationship really grew us very quickly. So it was a fast bit of growth for us. We, of course, have diversified since then, but that relationship, and this speaks to the power of networking and relationships, right? You never know when you respond to a Craigslist ad for a small agency that no longer exists, who you're going to meet there that's going to change the trajectory of your business life.
Wow, I can't believe it. And David, how many clients are you managing nowadays? Like, how big is the firm?
That's a difficult question to answer because we work both directly with law firms and with law firm marketing agencies that white label our services. So an agency, let's say a small agency in a local agency in Denver comes to us and they're servicing 10 law firms. So the agency is our client, but we're servicing 10 law firms through that agency. And we have that relationship with dozens of agencies. And we're also working with 50, 60 law firms at any given moment.
Okay, well, that's a bunch anyways. But now I get it. It's like agencies take on law firms, but they need help making it be like have the proper keywords or what you guys do. So they look for your help, and that way they can leverage what your firm does.
The issue here is that law is a regulated profession, as most of us know. And a competent marketing agency that does search engine optimization, SEO, can build a beautiful website. They can do technical SEO. They can build the backlinks. They can engage in a guest posting campaign. But what they often don't have the competency to do is ensure that the content that they're posting on their client's website is legally accurate, because laws change all the time. It's
Of
not
course.
enough to go, and like the interpretation of the law and the way you interpret it. You don't want to put statutory language on your website, right? You want to interpret that. So like that requires some specialization. Secondly, lawyers and the legal industry lawyers are subject to strict advertising regulations. And they're different in every state. Every state bar has different regulations. So you can't call yourself an expert or a specialist unless you are, in most states, unless you are certified by the bar as a specialist or an expert. So a generalist copywriter doesn't know that they don't even know that fact, right? So you don't know what you don't know. So these agencies are like, shit, how am I going to deal with this law firm? Well, they come to us for the content part of it because we understand the regulations and accuracy when it comes to content marketing for law firms.
And do you have any plans or are looking to expand into other countries, or are you comfortable with the laws and regulations in the States and in Canada?
So we're not looking to actively expand into any other countries. That being said, we are looking to expand into Spanish language content. And knowing what you do, this is really relevant to your conversation that you have with me. Actually, our SDR, our VP of sales, Sebastian, is in Argentina.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
Okay.
so he actually has a dual role. He edits Spanish language content that we provide to our clients, and he is our VP of sales.
And in terms of the rest of the agency, David, are you guys a remote first company, or do you have some headquarters in the States where you all meet up?
We have been remote since our inception. We have never had a headquarters. We do keep a virtual office in Denver, where we have access to a conference room if we need to meet a big client and they fly in, or they're in Denver already. We receive mail there. Also, as an agency owner, if you want to run PPC ads, you need to have a physical address. So
Okay.
this is the way to work with Google as a remote company, that you need at least somewhere you can receive mail in order to have a physical address for your Google business listing and for your PPC ads.
Cool. And are you outsourcing talent at the moment, or are all your employees and everybody that works for the firm working within the United States or Canada?
So this is an interesting thing that I think is specific to the content marketing industry right now. I mean, AI was a revolution and was extraordinarily disruptive. And there were times where I didn't think we were going to make it through. Because we are squarely, like the service we provide is squarely in the sights of what AI can do. I remember when I sat down with ChatGPT in December of 2022, right around holidays. We were leaving for Christmas. And I was like, I looked at my wife and I was like, I think I'm going to have to take the Colorado bar and start practicing law here, because I don't think we're going to survive this thing. I was like, it just spit out in 30 seconds what it took us an hour to do. And
Wow.
the thing is that I don't think that I realized, and maybe some forward thinking people did at the time, is that I didn't realize at the time that if everyone has access to these tools, then that's going to set the lowest bar. The bar raised, but it's still the lowest bar for content. And in the content game, content isn't for vanity. Content is to rank your website, to get it in front of someone who wants your services. So if everyone's using the same tools to create the same content, none of it's going to rank. There's still only one spot at the top of Google, right? And even if we're talking about AI overviews or getting yourself into ChatGPT or Claude or whatever LLM du jour is your choice. The content just needs to be, what it's created is a bigger market for better content. The fact that anyone can create content at virtually zero cost right now. The content that ranks is actually content that provides value. It's content that demonstrates expertise, authority, and trust and experience. I missed one of the E's of EEAT. That's an SEO parlance. So if nothing else, it's been a boon for our business, but it's changed what our clients want. And this is where I'm going to get to answering your question. Some of our clients want to have human written JD attorney written content that has been written in the United States and by a lawyer. That's fine. And we provide that. Other clients of ours are like, get the cost down as much as possible. So we have created a proprietary AI content generator that runs on the newest GPT. I think it's 4 or 5, maybe. I don't know. So we do outsource some of that initial content creation because it's data. That becomes a data entry job rather than a content writing job, if that makes sense.
And the employee doesn't need the understanding of the actual law as when the firms ask for a lawyer to write them what they need, because if not, then there can be severe liability issues or things said that aren't supposed to.
So that becomes a data entry job that we outsource to the Philippines. And then the rates there are great. Dollar arbitrage is fantastic over there. But then we receive that AI output, and then the domestic team takes that AI output and massages it, so to speak, to make it unique to the firm, to add signals of authority, to add internal links to the website, to add local information to signal to Google, hey, this is a real lawyer that's in this city, rather than this is AI slop that was produced in the Philippines that we're going to post on the website. And this leads me into this conversation that I like having when I'm guest on podcasts. The idea of binary content, a binary content paradigm of human content and AI content is not the way we should be looking at it anymore. AI content is the big starting point of output, right? The output is a starting point. And if you want to do it from scratch, feel free, but you're doing your client a disservice because you're being less efficient than you could be.
I feel that people are scared that it's either them or AI when it's actually supposed to be you along with the AI tool you're using to be optimized and be more efficient in whatever you do. But what I'm seeing is exactly what you're mentioning, that you take that standard that the AI spits out, and then you have to tweak it, change it, make it your own, and then add the human touch in order to provide some value to what everybody else could be getting out of the AI. Because if not, you're just doing what anybody could be doing, like in a search bar on Google, or just asking chat, hey, please write this out. And that would be it. So it's as you mentioned, like the bar is higher, the entry's lower. So everybody is just like right here. I get
and
that.
Good luck getting that article ranked, right? Good luck getting 10 things to do after a car accident in Denver. Good luck getting that to rank on Google. Like, why would Google, if it's based on everything that came before it and is adding nothing new to the conversation, what is Google's incentive to index that? Zero.
And David, another query I do have is also, how are you able then to gain new clients? Do you have a marketing strategy for the company, or is like organic marketing and word of mouth the way that the word has been spread out the most?
It depends on the client type. So as I mentioned, we have big agency partners, and I'd say there are like 10 huge players in the United States, half of whom we work with in legal marketing. So half of those guys are our clients, and I made those connections in the conference circuit. That's how that happened, like handshakes and cocktails after sessions. That said, we're working now to help law firms directly rather than through agencies gain AI visibility, both in the AI overviews and in the chat bots, Claude, chat, etc.
Of course. AI overview is a new Google search result that it's like everybody wants to be at the top of whatever is being looked for. It's crazy.
Well, so this is a little meta. We are consistently at the top of AI. We're consistently at the top of AI overviews for lawyers in the AI overviews. So we figured out how to do it for ourselves. Long and short, getting the law firm clients, to go back to your question, getting the law firm clients is it's a different channel. So if you look at business to business, our relationship with agencies, that is often that is often my thought leadership content that I'm putting out, like this. I publish regularly in Attorney at Work. I publish regularly in Attorney Law Magazine. So people who live and breathe legal marketing get to know my name, get to know our brand. They say, hey, we want to work with Lexicon. They seem like they know what they're doing. I think we do. But with the law firms, they're busy, man. They're practicing law. Like they're not like marketing is not top of mind for them. And when we want to acquire law firm clients, that is a combination of thought leadership still. Like people are watching and listening to podcasts on legal marketing. Sebastian does very good work on outbound and LinkedIn. We run meta campaigns. So we have a meta ads, I should say. And we're starting cold email, which I'm not sure how that's going to go, but fingers crossed.
Oh, cold email outreach is it's a hard task because you got to deal with a lot of no responses. You feel invisible.
And also the infrastructure. Like I'm a non-technical person. I came to this with a background in classical music. I was a cellist before law school, and then I went to law school, and then even practiced law. I did this. So like I'm non-technical, right? So I thought you bought a list of lawyer emails and put them in your email and send. I didn't realize this like whole infrastructure thing of like burner domains and prospecting and a sequencer and like DKIM and SKI, right? All these acronyms. I was like, what's going on, man? And then every time you got to do something, they're like, it's another $50 a month.
I get that, but I love how you mentioned that with like the biggest firms that you're working with and how you got like the biggest clients was old school networking, just going to conferences and maybe cocktails afterwards, but it's looking somebody in the eye, shaking their hand and telling them like, hey, I can help you out. And that is what has worked the most.
So as I mentioned earlier, we had this big whale client that we grew us with them. And, as a result, we organically developed into an agency to serve agencies. So like we have that down to a science. Like we understand agency pay points and we can fix them for you. So that's great. And so I started reaching out to other agencies via email, via LinkedIn, and I'm going to tell an anecdotal story. There's one very large agency in the United States that I had been emailing their owner for 5 years. 5 years I'm emailing this guy and I'm sending him LinkedIn messages every quarter. Hey, I'm not going to disclose names right now, but I'm like, hey, like, let's do some business together. We can help you. I know you have this problem. I know how to solve it at a reasonable price. Let's do it. No response. 5 years. I finally go on the conference circuit. I mean, I kind of like I'm going to say this to my detriment. We've floated under the radar in this industry for 10 years of our existence, but we were doing fine, right? And then that's when I realized, like, I want to ramp this thing up. I want to create a nationwide business, truly. And I go to a conference and I see this guy that I've been LinkedIn messaging and emailing for 5 years, introduce myself, have a drink, and this is not an exaggeration. Next day, we're doing business together. Next day. So it was never my offer. It was never the company. It was never our reputation. It was nothing changed other than the fact that I got in front of him as a physical human being and did the handshake and did the talk and like talked about baseball for a little bit. You know what I mean? And then talked about business and then we're doing business and there's still a client today.
That is amazing. And that really speaks to the power of what in-person meetups and being able to actually do your pitch with somebody that's watching you works way more than cold outreach via email. Because 5 years, man, is a long game that you were playing. I would have stopped after 3. But now that I think about it, I'll never stop.
Totally. But, I think like to take it back to AI a little bit, like I think the value of that communication is now at a premium. Because all of us can, and let's tie it all together. All of us can do cold email and create a great sequence and have Apollo automated and run it through instantly and like send out 5,000 emails a week, right? And like AI is doing all of that. What AI cannot do now is like show up at a conference
Exactly.
and get to know people and have people like you, know you, and trust you. AI cannot do that. We can, all of us now, like you don't even take the time to write the email copy, right? Like, so
No.
the premium is get on the goddamn airplane.
No, and I agree with what you're saying because now we've reached a point where AI is so ingrained in everything that everybody's doing that when something looks too perfect, it now causes a bit of distrust, and you feel, wait, this is only AI. I'm falling for a trap here. And
Oh,
I value now,
100%.
I value mistakes now, and I value like the honesty of somebody really just getting to work and the analog of it all. Just like now with the, I don't know, you mentioned that you played cello, so you must know of all these new AI music creation tools
I
that there
do.
are. And what's coming back now is the real analog playing. Like somebody that goes and stands on a stage to play the guitar and sing a song is going to be worth more than a DJ that created 300 songs with AI. It's
With
like,
AI. Totally.
mhm.
So to your point, like so I live in a really small town in Colorado. I live in Breckenridge. Long and short, like no one happens to come through Breckenridge. Like people happen to come through Denver or they happen to come through Chicago, right? But I
Okay.
get these cold emails and it's like, David, I saw that you run a legal content marketing company and I happen to be flying through Breckenridge. We don't have an airport. And then it says it says this, we love the little coffee house down the street. Do you want to meet for coffee? And I'm like, to your point, this is just clearly AI scraping data about where I am and where the coffee house is on Main Street.
No, you see, that just loses the lead that you might potentially have because you really got to put in the work of going that extra mile and adding your human touch to it. Like, there's nothing wrong with creating an email or some content or anything with AI, but just don't half ass it and send it over with what the AI did because we can tell. Like, everybody could tell. And David, also, I'd love to know what is your plan and what are your goals for Lexicon Legal for this 2026 that we're already ending February. The year's flying by. Oh my
I know.
goodness.
Quarter one's
But
over, man.
what would you like to accomplish this year, man?
Uh, we have some financial goals. Adding 25% to revenue from last year for 2026. I think it's reasonable. We are we onboarded a lot of new clients last year, without necessarily preparing properly for that infrastructure in the middle of a transition from Trello to Airtable. So that has been a nightmare. So like,
Huh.
put it this way. The front office is doing great. We need to clean up some stuff on the back office. Not that we're not providing good service. We are, but like we are stretched very thin.
I understand. And changing from those organization tools that you have like Trello to Airtable, it makes things sometimes fall through the cracks that nobody wants that to happen. But it is horrible until you finally align with the new tool you're using and it suddenly seems to work out. But I totally get what you mean, man. So hopefully you'll be able to tidy up that back end soon. And David, before I close out the episode, man, I did want to give you the space as well to let anybody who's hearing us know, and I believe it should be specifically if any law firm or a law marketing agency is listening to us, how can they reach out to you guys to see if they are a proper fit for the services that you provide, and how would they be able to know further about what you guys do?
Absolutely. Well, clearly our website, www.lexiconlegalcontent.com. You can reach me directly at david@lexiconlegalcontent.com. I'm not hard to find on the socials. And yeah, that's it.
Amazing. Amazing. So you just heard it here first. If you're a law firm or are looking into marketing in the area of legal, then please make sure to reach out to Lexicon Legal since it seems that they really know what they're doing. And David is a hell of a guy, so I'm sure at least a nice conversation will come out from it. But with that said, David, thank you so much, man, for hopping on the show with us, for being here and providing your insights and teaching us about what you do every day because it really is super interesting.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. I hope we do it again soon.
For sure, man. Thank you so much once again. And to anybody here that is listening to us and still here, we really appreciate you being on these podcasts with us, for hopping on every time to learn about the different industries that we're talking to and the different personalities that we are bringing on. So with that said, have a good one.